Hello and welcome to an episode of The Best Automatic. I'm your host, Captain Gorgeous.
And I'm your host, Captain Know-It-All. And I'm your host, Captain Purdy.
So, as you remember our previous episode, we discussed quite a lot of interesting facts like dolls. Yes, the James Bond dolls. Obviously, in my childhood, I never had one of them, but there was a toy called Action Man in Britain.
And there was a famous girl's doll and all, right? And it ain't Barbie, it's Cindy. And we discussed about Cindy, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Even I mentioned a lot about my bionic man as well.
Yeah, with the chopping arm and all that, look. Yes, bit like that Barbie with the twisty arm where her breasts get big.
Yes, you did, didn't you? Plenty O'Toole, you said her name was.
No, not the Barbie version, but for the James Bond one. That's in Diamonds Forever. That's why I always thought she might have been one of them dolls where you twist her arm and her breasts get big.
Yeah, you told me it happened in the movie. It's like you told me about Mattel, isn't it? I mean, educating me about them, because they drive black USVs, that they're meant to be the bad guys if they were in a Bond movie. And like you said, they've taken over your beloved Corgi collection, haven't they now?
Yeah, it's right,
So it was right interesting when you told me when they were trying to put Barbie in the box, and it's the same thing like it happened in James Bond, didn't it?
Well, I didn't mean that. I mean the chase, right? When she gets out of Mattel, right? And then them black USVs are chasing her, and there's all sorts of carnage. And the mum, she's been with a bloke what plays online on GTA and all that. She might have been with Ken.
Well, yeah, because there's all that carnage, because obviously when he was in that movie, he had all them people with him, chasing him, and he might have taught her how to be a getaway driver as well. So, she was a Barbie doll like Harley Quinn there.
Yeah, Margot Robbie, yeah, because that's one of the best-selling, action figures is that Barbie. But yeah, all that carnage with all them black SUVs crashing about and all that. I'm waiting for Mattel to start making all them, so they have their own action movie and all that. And I wonder if they put missiles on them and all that.
Yeah, that'll be quite interesting.
Lads, I don't actually physically remember this last time. Oh yeah, we did quite a lot about, with the Barbie car chase and all that,
Yeah, there were all these SUVs crashing, weren't there, and all that lot you were showing us.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, we talked a lot, didn't we? Talking about, our beloved action men, didn't we? And all that lot, didn't we?
Well, yes, we did, and obviously, because we're English, we talked about Barbie as well, and obviously, Cindy, if not many people might not know what that is, but it might some form of competition against Barbie. Because I never think there might be ever a Cindy movie, would they?
Nah, I don't think there will. But lads, I can't remember you doing this. Yeah, it's like, come on, it's like when we did Princess Robot Bubblegum, innit, right? We did all bare hair and all that lot, didn't we? Oh, well, yeah, but that wasn't that previous episode, was it? You're getting a bit confused now, aren't you? No, I'm not. It's like when we did the beginning of Barbie, innit, right? That we get that vibe from, especially the music playing, from that movie, 1976 movie, that big bass. What? When the Barbie movie starts, yeah, it's got Stanley Kubrick with 1968, 2021 as Space Odyssey. Are you meaning that? What you on about? Now, when Barbie movie starts off, it's like Mad Max, innit? What?
Yeah, like Mad Max is telling me, because you see that wasteland, don't you? And I don't still get it, because obviously I keep thinking of cars.
Well, obviously it's a doll, but obviously we're doing a car program because that doll is famous for having a much variety of vehicles.
Yeah, because she had loads of different type of vehicles, didn't she, that Barbie? I mean, the history of them vehicles.
Look, lads, I still like to get back to your theory, especially Mr. Pervert's theory.
Look, you interrupted me, we were having a conversation.
Yeah, but I don't understand why you're getting the idea of the Barbie movie started off giving the impression of Mad Max.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I agree with him because he explained it to me, didn't you, Captain Pervert?
Yes, I did, right? When it humbly begins, right? Yes, it starts like this.
My name is Max. My world is fire and blood.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait on, this is totally wrong. It's like Stanley Kubrick, it's Space Odyssey, come on, it's like that. Now, it starts like Mad Max. Look, pay attention. That's how I see it, and that's how everyone else must see it as well, I think.
My life fades. The vision dims. All that remains are memories. I remember a time of chaos, ruined dreams, this wasted land. But most of all, I remember the road warrior, the man we call Max. To understand.
What are you doing? That is not how the actual Barbie movie starts. That's how Mad Max starts. Yeah, I know how Mad Max starts, so that's why I'm showing that. No one might be showing Barbie at the beginning.
killing for gasoline.
The world is actually running out of water. There's a lot of wars.
Once, I was a cop, a road warrior searching for a righteous cause.
Wait on, it doesn't start like that at all. Yeah, it does with Mattel symbol on it. Yes, it does, but then it all of a sudden it went on Mad Max again, didn't it? Fury Road.
Mankind has gone low, terrorizing itself. Thermonuclear extermination.
The earth is sour. Our bones are poisoned. We have become half-life.
You are getting so annoying doing that. Now, I am proving a point, right? If you pay attention to the humble beginning of Mad Max, how it starts, it's the same way you think of the Barbie movie, because it's got, like, blimmithy messages in it or something. What are you on about? Just pay attention!
And who it was, you have to go back to another time, when the world was powered by the black fuel, and the deserts sprouted great cities of pipe and steel.
Look, I don't understand what you're trying to get with the message of Mad Max compared to Barbie. I mean, just play the beginning of the Barbie movie and I'll put my point of view what I'm trying to get at.
As the world fell, each of us in our own way was broken. It was hard to know who was more crazy. Me or everyone else.
Will you stop doing that? You're putting the Barbie movie on and then you're putting Mad Max on. I mean, that's just getting confusing. Now, I'm trying to verify that you can know the difference, right? I know the difference, I just told you. No, you haven't. Right, I'm trying to verify, it's very familiar, isn't it? Now you're stumbling, because you're just making excuses just to be an idiot with the, whatever you're doing with that machinery you're playing with. Well, I'm not.
Gone now, swept away. For reasons long forgotten, two mighty warrior tribes went to war and touched off a blaze which engulfed them all. Without fuel they were nothing. They built a house of straw. The thundering machine sputtered and stopped.
So you see what I mean now, don't you? What? No, I don't. You just put Mad Max back on. Now, when it mentions about two warriors going to war, right, it's definitely the Barbie movie. When you got, like, the Kens going against each other, but technically it's Barbie and Ken what really the two tribes going to war. But it's Ken what goes to war with the other Kens. Yeah, two tribes of Kens, but technically there's two other tribes, Barbie and Ken. This is confusing. No, it's look, it's to do with sci-fi. Yeah, bloody Barbie is sci-fi, isn't it? It's not bloody real, is it? No, just show the bloody clip and I'll show you what I mean.
Their leaders talked and talked and talked.
Not that one, the Barbie one.
I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead. Hunted by scavengers. Haunted by those I could not protect.
Look, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Well, obviously I'm doing it on purpose because I want you to know the difference, right? But obviously they're the same thing as well, because obviously that's what it must be getting at. It's a Mad Max type thing, isn't it? No, it's not!
And nothing could sting the avalanche. Their world crumbled. The cities exploded.
You just put the wrong clip on. Now what, then? I'm trying to educate you like I keep trying to hint at, right? Look, can you just put the Barbie clip on?
So I exist in this wasteland. A man reduced to a single instinct. Survive.
You just done it again with the clips. Oh, well, I have, but obviously, you know, I'm trying to get, you know, it's very familiar. That's what I'm trying to get at. You just bloody watch it and you'll know what I'm trying to get at, won't you? Just put the clip on.
A whirlwind of looting. A firestorm of fear.
You just put Mad Max on. I know, so you can get the vibe of it, because obviously when the Barbie movie starts, it's all in the desert, innit? And that's how Mad Max has that impact, doesn't it? You know, in the desert. No, it's another film it's basing off.
Since the beginning of time, since the first little girl ever existed.
Oh, you could have played a little bit more of it. I mean, it's telling you about, you know, when the human race came out, like the first little young women came out. Yeah, like Mad Max talks about, you know, men feeding on men or something. What are you on about? I'll show you the clip. No!
Men began to feed on men. On the roads, it was a white line nightmare.
Will you start interrupting with Mad Max? You've got the wrong movie in mind. The Barbie movie is not applying at the Mad Max movie. It's another movie. No!
There have been dolls.
You haven't shown enough of the clip. I will of the other one, or what? No!
Only those mobile enough to scavenge, brutal enough to pillage, would survive.
Look, I gather that you just bleedingly annoy me, because I want you to understand what point of view I've got about the Barbie movie. Well, yeah, but there's quite a lot of that clip with Mad Max, isn't there? Well, there's with Barbie as well. Well, not as much as Mad Max. You seem like you're going to play the old bloody movie, aren't you? I'm not! Alright, I'm playing the sequel to the first one,
But the dolls were always and forever baby dolls.
Can you play more of the clip? Because I want to get to the point what I was suggesting about what happens in the Barbie movie. Will ya?
The gangs took over the highways, ready to wage war for a tank of juice.
You just played the Mad Max clip. I want you to play the Barbie clip. Are you doing this on purpose? Obviously I'm doing it on purpose because I've got my point of view and I've got my point of view. Because I want to get to the scene where it's talking about another movie or showing the clip of another movie. I've got a straight point of it because it's about Mad Max, isn't it? Because it's done in the desert and all that lot. It's nothing to do with Mad Max at all.
The girls who played with them could only ever play at being mothers.
Why are you showing tiny bits of the Barbie movie? I want to get to the scene where it's copying the 1968 movie I want to talk about. No, it's a basing on Mad Max, and that's what I'm trying to get at. If you paid attention what they're on about, you know, the distant and the desert land and all that, no, that's what it's on about. No, it's not!
And in the smells from decay, ordinary men were battered and smashed.
You just keep on playing bloody Mad Max for? Why? Because I've got that point of view about the Mad Max movie is to do with the Barbie movie. That's what it's trying to get at. Not about what movie you're on about. 1968. It can't be something that interesting, can it? It's not Mad Max movie. Well, that was 1979, wasn't it?
Which can be fun. At least for a while, anyway.
You're not showing enough. It's coming out with a point how people have evolution and proved on, like, you know, like when you see the chimpanzees learning how to use tools like killing each other or killing other animals, And that's what I'm trying to get at, right? Imagine if all that was taken away, is that it's like Apocalypse Now or something, you know, that's what it's getting at. Everybody reverses back to square one, like they just come out primitive and all that, like, don't they? And that's what I'm trying to get at. That's what it's trying to get at, isn't it? With dolls, we play with dolls, we learn and develop by playing with dolls, and that's how we study stuff, isn't it? And that's what I'm trying to get at. What, by playing Mad Max images? Yeah, imagine if everything's destroyed, you haven't got all them toy shops and stuff and all that lot, or video games, or anything like that. That's what it's meaning, right? We all need to travel and to scavenge and gain whatever bits of rubbish just to survive on and all that lot. Oh, whatever, just carry on playing the Barbie clip, not Mad Max. Now, I've got my point and you've got your point, but my point's more proper because we do a car program, not some, whatever film you're on about.
Midnight Max, the Warrior Max. In the roar of an engine he lost everything.
I wish you'd carry on playing the Barbie movie so I can just get up to the bit what the point of view what I'm trying to get at. Well, I already heard what you've been saying. Shut up!
Ask your mother. This continued until...
That's the movie it's portraying. I don't care.
And became a shell of a man. A burnt-out, desolate man. A man haunted by the demons of his past. A man who wandered out into the wasteland.
No, I'm trying to come out with a point as I mentioned. Right, come on. 2021, right? A Space Odyssey. That's what it's trying to fare at. You know, with the, primitive, apes or whatever, learning how to use tools to compare to maybe weapons and all that lot. I mean, there's a lot more intellectual stuff in the Barbie movie what it's trying to get at. What? That my theories are wrong, right? Because end of the day, right, we all know that man is the self-destruction of the world, and that's what I get the idea of, because, seeing like little girls just destroying stuff, like them gorillas or whatever, is totally wrong. And like the space thing, then what the next thing you're going to say, them Barbie dolls are like, oh, and all that lot, are you saying?
And it was here, in this blighted place, that he learned to live again.
Well, I've already played my clip, and now can you understand what it's I'm trying to get at? No, it is the actual 2021 A Space Odyssey, right? And that's what I'm trying to get at. That's what it's trying to base that. No, it's not, because 2021, well, ain't that far off from the Fast and Furious, is it? Well, yeah, but what do you mean by that? Well, think about it, he's got spaceships in it, hasn't it? And got flying spaceship cars and all that lot, hasn't it? And another thing, you're talking about like Barbies who got like them evil owls in. We all know why that evil owl gets up to and all that lot, don't we, in the bloody movie, don't we? No, I'm not actually adjusting that, am I?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Look, you need some form of intelligence to understand that movie. What, Fast and Furious? I mean, obviously, I think a few people can understand that. No, not about that.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
It's like the messages in Space Odyssey, isn't it? With the patriarchy, and in Barbie movie and all that lot.
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
You're not being logical about the movie with Space Odyssey, comparing it with Barbie, because obviously you're just on about odd stuff. Right, I explained about Ken when he went to the real world, how he took over about with the Barbies, because when he went to the library, obviously he would have told the Barbies that really they're not Barbies, there's something else.
Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
It's like I explained about Bill Lilly, right? She had her own movie. Never mind the Barbie movie. She was the first one what had that movie. And the Barbie movie should have had the inspiration of, that movie, right? See what I mean? No, I don't know what you mean.
Hello everybody, can anybody hear me? Yes, I know them two are arguing in the background, but the thing is though, yes, we're still doing our previous, that meaning that I should be explaining what happened in our previous episode. As you may know, that obviously the producers wanted me to start watching the James Bond series for the very first time and watch it in book order, but obviously I'm best doing something about this mic or going to another room and all that lot, instead of hearing them two girls. So, on our previous episode, you all might remember that I'm going through with our producers to be a more successfully better presenter, according to them, to what are arguing. But the thing is, they need me to sort of know that very iconic famous car, the DB5, James Bond's vehicle. Now, I have seen images way back as a young whippersnapper I was, and knowing it's associated with this James Bond character, but my mum restricted me to know anything really about it. So, obviously, it will be interesting to know this iconic vehicle, but the producers want me to start watching the films, but in a order. Now, a lot of you may think I should start, if I'm doing the most famous car in the world, they all say, that it was started off with James Bond's Goldfinger. Now, the producers want me to go through the history of James Bond. Now, to start off watching James Bond, they want me to go with the actual author, Ian Fleming. I have learned that he's the creator of Bond, and his first book was Casino Royale, and obviously they've told me that the film was rebooted in 2006, that it's not the one. They told me that was in 1967 or something. They told me not to watch that one, not yet, but yeah, the reboot, they said, of a character called James Bond played by Daniel Craig. What the producers actually say, he has driven two iconic gadget cars in the movies, but obviously they say I'm a long way off and I should start with Ian Fleming, the book. So that's what I'm going to do. But first, I'm going to introduce our challenge, because as you all know from the last episode, we've already done this, and this is our not so tame racing driver, what is going to be driving on the most dangerous road. And to do that, it's got to go at the end of the dangerous road at one direction, turn back round and come back again at the fastest time. And obviously us three are going to compete against the gimp's time, and hopefully we can beat the not so tame racing driver. So me on my own commentating about me talking isn't really, well, advisable for me, because I think this would be a great opportunity for me, like we did on the other episode, to listen to a little bit more of the book, because you didn't think I was going to sit back and read it, did you? I'm going to get the audio book to go through. Yes, so here it is.
The bad, harsh taste in his mouth, and a slight sweat under his arms. He could feel his eyes filling their sockets. The front of his face, his nose and antrum were congested. He breathed the sweet night air deeply and focused his senses and his wits. He wanted to know if anyone had searched his room since he had left it before dinner. He walked across the broad boulevard and through the gardens to the Hotel Splendide. He smiled at the concierge who gave him his key, number 45, on the first floor, and took the cable. It was from Jamaica, and read, Kingston, J.A., XXXXXXXX, Bond, Splendide Royal Les Eaux, Seine, Inferior, Havana Cigar Production, All Cuban Factors, 1915. 10 million. Repeat, 10 million. Stop. Quote this figure you require. Regards, Da Silva. And this meant that 10 million francs was on the way to him. And it was the reply to a request Bond had sent that afternoon through Paris to his headquarters in London asking for more funds. Paris had spoken to London, where Clements, the head of Bond's department, had spoken to M, who had smiled wryly and told the broker to fix it with the Treasury. Bond had once worked in Jamaica, and his cover on the Royale assignment was that of a very rich client of Messrs. Caffrey, the principal import and export firm of Jamaica. So he was being controlled through Jamaica, through a taciturn man who was head of the picture desk on the Daily Gleaner, the famous newspaper of the Caribbean. This man on the Gleaner, whose name was Fawcett, had been bookkeeper for one of the leading turtle fishers on the Cayman Islands. One of the men from the Caymans who had volunteered on the outbreak of war, he had ended up as a paymaster's clerk in a small naval intelligence organization in Malta. At the end of the war, when, with a heavy heart, he was due to return to the Caymans, he was spotted by the section of the Secret Service concerned with the Caribbean. He was strenuously trained in photography and in some other areas, and, with the quiet connivance of an influential man in Jamaica, on his way to the picture desk of the Gleaner. In the intervals between sifting photographs submitted by the great agencies, Keystone, Wide World, Universal, IMP, and Reuters Photo, he would get peremptory instructions by telephone from a man he had never met to carry out certain simple operations requiring nothing but absolute discretion, speed, and accuracy. For these occasional services, he received £20 a month paid into his account with the Royal Bank of Canada by a fictitious relative in England. Fawcett's present assignment was to relay immediately to Bond full rates the text of messages which he received at home by telephone from his anonymous contact. He had been told by this contact that nothing he would be asked to send would arouse the suspicion of the Jamaican post office. So he was not surprised to find himself suddenly appointed string correspondent for the Maritime Press and Photo Agency, with press collect facilities to France and England, on a further monthly retainer of £10. He felt secure and encouraged, had visions of a BEM, and made the first payment on a Morris Minor. He also bought a green eyeshade, which he had long coveted, and which helped him to impose his personality on the picture desk. Some of this background to his cable passed through Bond's mind. He was used to a brief control and rather liked it. He felt it further bedded him a little, allowed him to give or take an hour or two in his communications with M. He knew that this was probably a fallacy, that probably there was another member of the service, the Royal Les Eaux, who was reporting independently. But it did give the illusion that he wasn't only 150 miles across the channel from that deadly office building near Regent's Park, being watched and judged by those cool, cold brains that made the whole show work. Justice Fawcett, the Cayman Islander in Kingston, knew that if he bought that Morris Minor outright instead of signing the hire purchase agreement, someone in London would probably know and want to know where the money had come from. Bond read the cable twice. He tore a telegram form off the pad on the desk, why give them carbon copies, and wrote his reply in capital letters. Thanks, information should suffice. Bond. He handed this to the concierge and put the cable signed Da Silva in his pocket. The employers, if any, of the concierge could bribe a copy out of the local post office if the concierge hadn't already steamed the envelope open or read the cable upside down in Bond's hands. He took his key and said good night and turned to the stairs, shaking his head at the lift. Bond knew what an obliging danger signal a lift could be. He didn't expect anyone to be moving on the first floor, but he preferred to be prudent. Walking quietly up on the balls of his feet, he regretted the hubris of his reply to M via Jamaica. As a gambler, he knew it was a mistake to rely on too small a capital. Anyway, M probably wouldn't let him have any more. He shrugged his shoulders and turned off the stairs into the corridor and walked softly to the door of his room. Bond knew exactly where the switch was.
So it is quite interesting to listen to the story as we see this epic challenge going along. Yes, I know it's a bit different not hearing us commentating about how dangerous it is, but it's something different because it will save on me listening to it all and that time. So hopefully I'll carry on with the rest of the challenges as well. So that is very interesting for me to sort of learn about James Bond. Like it said in that book, the first vehicle what gets mentioned is a Morris Minor because it's inconspicuous. And I'll be thinking that James Bond, as I've been saying Diamonds Forever bits, that James Bond's going to end up with a Ford, I've been told. Yes, the Ford Mustang, and it'd be really fancy. But I was wrong. The producer said he ends up getting a hired car. It is the Ford Mondeo. Not so conspicuous at all. And that what made it quite interesting to find out that everybody isn't completely reckless and idiotically stupid to show something flashy and getting your attention. So it was quite interesting that, you know, not everybody has got this image how Captain Pervert puts him as. So, and that isn't even Bond yet, so I am going to be very curious. But, as the producer said, he does drive a Mondeo in the first film you're going to see. So it is quite interesting. Interesting as it is, here is our challenge with the one and only Captain Know-It-All. Now he has picked a vehicle fair size to compare with the Gibbs lorry. But obviously we all know what I'm going to be doing when we start watching their challenge, because them two are still arguing, thinking they're still doing the program, but obviously I'm in here with the mic. But anyhow, I would like to continue to listen to James Bond and learn a little bit more, and hopefully you lot as well who are maybe watching this epic challenge to unravel. So further ado, I'm not going to milk it as much as now, that to tell you that, yeah, we're continuing with Bond.
And it was with one flow of motion that he stood on the threshold, with the door full open, the light on, and a gun in his hand. The safe, empty room sneered at him. He ignored the half-open door of the bathroom, and locking himself in, he turned up the bed light and the mirror light and threw his gun on the settee beside the window. Then he bent down and inspected one of his own black hairs, which still lay undisturbed where he had left it before dinner, wedged into the drawer of the writing desk. Next he examined a faint trace of talcum powder on the inner rim of the porcelain handle of the clothes cupboard. It appeared immaculate. He went into the bathroom, lifted the cover of the lavatory cistern and verified the level of the water against a small scratch on the copper ball cock. Doing all this, inspecting these minor burglar alarms, did not make him feel foolish or self-conscious. He was a secret agent, and still alive thanks to his exact attention to the detail of his profession. Routine precautions were to him no more unreasonable than they would be to a deep-sea diver or a test pilot, or to any man earning danger money. Satisfied that his room had not been searched while he was at the casino, Bond undressed and took a cold shower. Then he lit his 70th cigarette of the day and sat down at the writing table with the thick wad of his stake money and winnings beside him and entered some figures in a small notebook. Over the 2 days' play, he was up exactly 3 million francs. In London, he had been issued with 10 million, and he had asked London for a further 10. With this on its way to the local branch of Credit Lyonnais, his working capital amounted to 23 million francs, or some £23,000. For a few moments, Bond sat motionless, gazing out of the window across the dark sea. Then he shoved the bundle of banknotes under the pillow of the ornate single bed, cleaned his teeth, turned out the lights, and climbed with relief between the harsh French sheets. For 10 minutes he lay on his left side, reflecting on the events of the day. Then he turned over and focused his mind towards the tunnel of sleep. His last action was to slip his right hand under the pillow until it rested under the butt of the .38 Colt police positive with the sawn barrel. Then he slept, and with the warmth and humour of his eyes extinguished, his features relapsed into a taciturn mask, ironical, brutal, and cold. Chapter 2. Dossier for M. 2 weeks before, this memorandum had gone from Station S of the Secret Service to M, who was then and is today head of this adjunct to the British Defence Ministries. To M. From Head of S. Subject: a project for the destruction of Monsieur le Chiffre, alias the Number, Herr Nummer, Herr Ziffer, etc. One of the opposition's chief agents in France and undercover paymaster of the Syndicat des Ouvriers d'Alsace, the communist-controlled trade union in the heavy and transport industries of Alsace, and as we know, an important fifth column in the event of war with Redland. Documentation: Head of Archives biography of Le Chiffre is attached at Appendix A. Also, Appendix B, a note on Smash. We have been feeling for some time that Le Chiffre is getting into deep water. In nearly all respects, he is an admirable agent of the USSR, but his gross physical habits and predilections are an Achilles heel of which we have been able to take advantage from time to time, and one of his mistresses is a Eurasian, number 1860, controlled by Station F, who has recently been able to obtain insight into his private affairs. Briefly, it seems that Le Chiffre is on the brink of a financial crisis. Certain straws in the wind were noticed by 1860. Some discreet sales of jewellery, the disposal of a villa at Antibes, and a general tendency to check the loose spending which has always been a feature of his way of life. Further inquiries were made with the help of our friends of the 2e Bureau, with whom we have been working jointly on this case, and a curious story has come to light. In January 1946, Le Chiffre bought control of a chain of brothels known as the Cordon Jaune, operating in Normandy and Brittany. He was foolish enough to employ for this purpose some 50 million francs of the moneys entrusted to him by Leningrad Section 3 for the financing of Soda, the trade union mentioned above. Normally the Cordon Jaune would have proved a most excellent investment, and it is possible that Le Chiffre was motivated more by a desire to increase his union funds than by the hope of lining his own pocket by speculating with his employer's money. However that may be, it is clear that he could have found many investments more savoury than prostitution if he had not been tempted by the byproduct of unlimited women for his personal use. Fate rebuked him with terrifying swiftness. Barely 3 months later, on the 13th of April, there was passed in France law number 46685, entitled Loi tendant à la fermeture des maisons de tolérance et au renforcement de la lutte contre le prosélytisme. When M came to this sentence, he grunted and pressed a switch on the intercom. Head of this? Sir? What the hell does this word mean? He spelt it out. Pimping, sir. This is not the Berlitz School of Languages, head of S. If you want to show off your knowledge of foreign jawbreakers, be good enough to provide a crib.
So, Captain Know-It-All is nearly to his destination, and now we'll see how fast he got there. And obviously, yeah, you'd be wanting to carry on listening, but yeah, not too bad. And what I'm going to do is carry on showing the actual film. So we're moving on to Captain Burger's method now. So there he is, giving his little wave. Another little heavy goods vehicle. It's quite heavy, 16 axles or whatever, or 6 axles I would say. So he's on his merry way. So let's go on our merry way to listen to Bob.
That is still writing English. Sorry, sir. Then released the switch and turned back to the memorandum. This law, he read, known popularly as La Loi Marc Richard, closing all houses of ill fame and forbidding the sale of pornographic books and films, knocked the bottom out of his investment almost overnight. and suddenly Le Chiffre was faced with a serious deficit in his union funds. In desperation, he turned his open houses into maisons de passe, where clandestine rendezvous could be arranged on the borderline of the law, and he continued to operate one or two cinémas bleus underground. But these shifts in no way served to cover his overheads, and all attempts to sell his investment, even at a heavy loss, failed dismally. Meanwhile, the police de Moor were on his trail, and in a short while 20 or more of his establishments were closed down. The police were, of course, only interested in this man as a big-time brothel keeper, and it was not until we expressed an interest in his finances that the Deuxième Bureau unearthed the parallel dossier which was running with their colleagues of the police department. The significance of the situation became apparent to us and to our French friends, and in the past few months a veritable rat hunt has been operated by the police after the establishments of the Cordon Jaune, with the result that today nothing remains of Le Chiffre's original investment, and any routine inquiry would reveal a deficit of around 50 million francs in the trade union funds of which he is the treasurer and paymaster. It does not seem that the suspicions of Leningrad have been aroused yet, but, unfortunately for Le Chiffre, it is possible that at any rate Smersh is on the scent. Last week a high-grade source of Station P reported that a senior official of this efficient organization of Soviet vengeance had left Warsaw for Strasbourg via the eastern sector of Berlin. There is no confirmation of this report from the Deuxième Bureau, nor from the authorities in Strasbourg, who are reliable and thorough, and there is also no news from Le Chiffre's headquarters there, which we have well covered by a double agent, in addition to 1860. If Le Chiffre knew that Smersh was on his tail, or that they had the smallest suspicion of him, he would have no alternative but to commit suicide or attempt to escape. But his present plans suggest that while he is certainly desperate, he does not yet realize that his life may be at stake. It is these rather spectacular plans of his that have suggested to us a counter-operation which, though risky and unconventional, we submit at the end of this memorandum with confidence. In brief, Le Chiffre plans, we believe, to follow the example of most other desperate till robbers and make good the deficit in his accounts by gambling. The bourse is too slow. So are the various illicit traffics in drugs or rare medicines, such as Oreo and streptomycin and cortisone. No racetracks could carry the sort of stakes he will have to play, and if he wins, he would more likely be killed than paid off. In any case, we know that he has withdrawn the final 25 million francs from the treasury of his union, and that he has taken a small villa in the neighborhood of Royal-les-Eaux, just north of Dieppe, for a week from a fortnight tomorrow. Now, it is expected that the casino at Royal will see the highest gambling in Europe this summer. In an effort to wrest the big money from Deauville and Le Touquet, the Société de Bains de Mer de Royal have leased the baccarat and the two top chemin de fer tables to the Muhammad Ali Syndicate, a group of emigre Egyptian bankers and businessmen with, it is said, a call on certain royal funds, who have for years been trying to cut in on the profits of Zographos and his Greek associates, resulting from their monopoly of the highest French baccarat banks. With the help of discreet publicity, a considerable number of the biggest operators in America and Europe have been encouraged to book at Royal this summer, and it seems possible that this old-fashioned watering place will regain some of its Victorian renown. Be that as it may, it is here that the Chiffre will, we are confident, endeavour on or after the 15th of June to make a profit at baccarat of 50 million francs on a working capital of 25 million, and, incidentally, save his life. Proposed counter-operation. It would be greatly in the interests of this country and of the other nations of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization that this powerful Soviet agent should be ridiculed and destroyed, that his communist trade union should be bankrupted and brought into disrepute, and that this potential fifth column, with a strength of 50,000, capable in time of war of controlling a wide sector of France's northern frontier, should lose faith and cohesion. All this would result if Le Chiffre could be defeated at the tables. N.B. Assassination is pointless. Leningrad would quickly cover up his defalcations and make him into a martyr. We therefore recommend that the finest gambler available to the service should be given the necessary funds and endeavour to out-gamble this man. The risks are obvious, and the potential loss to the secret funds is high. But other operations on which large sums have been hazarded have had fewer chances of success, often for a smaller objective. If the decision is unfavorable, the only alternative would be to place our information and our recommendations in the hands of the Deuxième Bureau or of our American colleagues at the Central Intelligence Agency in Washington. Both of these organizations would doubtless be delighted to take over the scheme. Signed, S. Appendix A. Name, the Chief. Aliases. Variations on the words cipher or number in different languages, e.g. Herr Ziffer. Origin, unknown. First encountered as a displaced person, inmate of Dachau DP camp in the US zone of Germany, June 1945. Apparently suffering from amnesia and paralysis of vocal cords. Both feigned. Dumbness succumbed to therapy, but subject continued to claim total loss of memory except associations with Alsace-Lorraine and Strasbourg, whither he was transferred in September 1945 on stateless passport number 304596. Adopted the name The Chief, since I am only a number on a passport.
So the story's getting interesting and the challenge is interesting as well, as Captain Pervert has finished. But now things are going to get a lot better now, because the next challenger is going to be me, and there I am with a nice little friendly ball, and hopefully I can get back and obviously listen to the rest of Casino Royale as well. So let's get on with it and listen.
No Christian names. Age, about 45. Description. Height, 5 feet 8 inches. Weight, 18 stones. Complexion, very pale. Clean shaven. Hair, red-brown. En brosse. Eyes, very dark brown with whites showing all round iris. Small, rather feminine mouth. False teeth of expensive quality. Ears small with large lobes indicating some Jewish blood. Hands small, well-tended, hirsute. Feet small. Racially, subject is probably a mixture of Mediterranean with Prussian or Polish strains. Dresses well and meticulously, generally in dark double-breasted suits. Smokes incessantly caporals, using a denicotinizing poulder. At frequent intervals, inhales from Benzedrine inhaler. Voice soft and even. Bilingual in French and English. Good German. Traces of Marseille accent. Smiles infrequently. Does not laugh. Habits. Mostly expensive but discreet. Large sexual appetites. Flagellant. Expert driver of fast cars. Adept with small arms and other forms of personal combat, including knives. Carries 3 ever-sharp razor blades in hat band, heel of left shoe and cigarette case. Knowledge of accountancy and mathematics. Fine gambler. Always accompanied by 2 armed guards, well-dressed. 1 French, 1 German. Details available. Comment. A formidable and dangerous agent of the USSR controlled by Leningrad Section 3 through Paris. Signed, Archivist. Appendix B. Subject, Smash. Sources. Own archives and scanty material made available by Deuxième Bureau and CIA Washington. Smash is a conjunction of 2 Russian words. Smert Shpiona, meaning roughly death to spies. Ranks above MWD, formerly NKVD, and is believed to come under the personal direction of Beryl. Headquarters, Leningrad. Substation at Moscow. Its tasks is the elimination of all forms of treachery and backsliding with the various branches of the Soviet Secret Service and secret police at home and abroad.
So, things are getting interesting, so let's continue.
It is the most powerful and feared organization in the USSR, and is popularly believed never to have failed in a mission of vengeance. It is thought that Smersh was responsible for the assassination of Trotsky in Mexico, 22nd of August 1940, and may indeed have made its name with this successful murder after attempts by other Russian individuals and organizations had failed. Smersh was next heard of when Hitler attacked Russia. It was then rapidly expanded to cope with treachery and double agents during the retreat of the Soviet forces in 1941. At that time it worked as an execution squad for the NKVD, and its present selective mission was not so clearly defined. The organization itself was thoroughly purged after the war, and is now believed to consist of only a few hundred operatives of very high quality divided into 5 sections. Department 1, in charge of counterintelligence among Soviet organizations at home and abroad. Department 2, operations, including executions. Department 3, administration and finance. Department 4, investigations and legal work, personnel. Department 5, prosecutions, the section which passes final judgment on all victims. Only one Smersh operative has come into our hands since the war, Goicha, alias Garrard Jones. He shot Pechor, medical officer at the Yugoslav embassy in Hyde Park, 7th of August 1948. During interrogation, he committed suicide by swallowing a coat button of compressed potassium cyanide. He revealed nothing beyond his membership of Smersh, at which he was arrogantly boastful. We believe that the following British double agents were victims of Smersh: Donovan, Arthur Vane, Elizabeth Dumont, Vendigan, Mace, Saverick. For details, see Morgue, Section Q. Conclusion. Every effort should be made to improve our knowledge of this very powerful organization and destroy its operatives. Chapter 3, Number 007. Head of S, the section of the Secret Service concerned with the Soviet Union, was so keen on his plan for the destruction of Lashik, and it was basically his own plan, that he took the memorandum himself and went up to the top floor of the gloomy building overlooking Regent's Park and through the green baize door and along the corridor to the end room.
So, with that, as you well notice that I have done quite well, obviously, because I'm Captain Gorgeous, and on that, we'll have to see how we did against the Gimp. So, the Gimp's time wasn't impressive compared to Captain Know-It-Alls, but Captain Perverts, oh dear. But the one and only, the best one, is me. Wow, Captain Gorgeous in your services. And I've been an honour doing this show today. So, on that farewell to Bond, it's time to end the show.